Beamy Connor, 30, copywriter, not famous, just reliably sharp with words. 5 years at the best agency in my city, best by results. Not the biggest, not the flashiest, just the one clients trusted. Office is a converted warehouse with brick and bad heating. Old freight elevator groans every time a brief arrives. Whiteboard wall is permanent paint, covered in dead slogans. We call it the slogan graveyard because nothing truly leaves. Rule in meetings is simple. Bring an idea or bring silence. We fight and critique, then ship, then forget the ego. Meritocracy, brutal and clean, almost relaxing in a sick way. That year we didn't know HR would kill us, not competitors. Our biggest account is a beverage brand, 40% revenue. That client pays the rent, the coffee, and our pride. Lose them once, and the agency turns into an obituary. We know the stakes, we just don't fear the right thing. At the center is Liam, senior creative director, late 40s, exhausted. Liam hates meetings, hates buzzwords, hates anything wasting craft. He speaks in dry one-liners and merciless edits, no sugar. His favorite phrase is, "Stop performing, start selling," and he means it. He can smell fake copy from 3 rooms away, eyes closed. He deletes adjectives like they owe him money. When juniors panic, he says, "Ship something, then we can fix." He respects effort, but he worships taste, and taste is rare. Other pillar is Noah, lead designer, mid-20s, shy to bone. Noah rarely talks, but his comps talk loud enough. Give him a feeling, a word, half a joke. He builds visuals. Liam sparks ideas. Noah builds worlds. The rest of us orbit. One night proves it during a pitch for Quarry Hall tires. Product is mining tires, giant black donuts priced like small cars. Client wants rugged, reliable, honest without sounding like a flag. We brainstorm a week. Everything sounds like diesel parody. Conference room reeks of cold pizza and dry erase dust. Account team sweats because this budget funds our quarter. We are stuck, burned out, throwing words at walls and missing. Client rep is ex-engineer, hates marketing, smells weakness. He keeps asking what problem we solve and who we mock. Our drafts sound like motivational posters stapled to rubber. Noah slides a folder named Dust and Steel and says nothing. Liam circles one line on my page and writes, "Stop begging." I rewrite it fast, and it still feels like lying. At midnight, Liam stops the room and says, "Quit flattering." Then he rips a sheet, slides it across, says there. Sketches one haul truck under sunrise, plain, honest. Under it, he wrote 5 words, "Built for miles," not applause. Room goes quiet, like someone unplugged the air. Then everyone talks at once because it lands perfectly. Noah nods once, takes the sketch. No smile, just locked. He goes to his desk, headphones on, disappears into screen. We go home because humans need sleep, allegedly. I come back at 7 a.m., and Noah is still there. Eyes red, hands steady, caffeine levels medically concerning. On his monitor is a full deck, 20 pages, fully branded. Logo system, palette, type, print mock-ups, web mock-ups, all real. Even a dirt-textured motion loop for digital signage. He turned a napkin idea into a whole identity overnight. We present 3 days later. Client signs before Q&A ends. Contract arrives as PDF, signatures blocks already prepared. CEO forwards it with one line, "Good work, keep winning." Liam replies with a thumbs up and goes back sketching. Noah exports files, starts next deck. No celebration, just work. That was our religion. Talent respected, outcomes worshipped, noise ignored. Work was hard, but it felt like craft, not theater. Then spring hits and the HR email drops like an omen. Old HR head retires, sweet lady who did payroll and vanished. CEO announces replacement, Pearl, head of people and culture. All hands invite arrives with a title, Transformation Journey Kickoff. I didn't know this invite was a death certificate. Pearl walks in with a blazer sharp enough to cut glass. Trendy glasses, perfect hair, smile designed for LinkedIn. She introduces herself like an app update. Lots of features. She calls herself a feminist leader in every intro. Her LinkedIn is feminism, equity, and corporate repentance non-stop. She says she's here to build safety, belonging, and accountability. She never mentions benefits, payroll, or anything operational. She shows a slide, culture OKRs, quarterly scorecard, owners assigned. She says leaders will be graded on it, including CEO. She says engagement is a leading indicator and talent is downstream. She introduces a weekly survey, belonging pulse, mandatory completion. She says compliance rates will be tracked and audited. She mentions psychological safety like it's a medical device. She says resistance is data, and data needs action. Liam sits in back, sketching thumbnails, not even pretending. Pearl notices, and her smile tightens for half a second. That half-second crack told me everything. CEO laughs politely at her jokes, eyes scanning for cameras. CEO fears screenshots more than missed deadlines, always has. Board friend warned him one leaked clip can end brands. So Pearl gets armor before she proves she deserves it. She says her bonus tracks engagement, retention, and compliance outcomes. If numbers drop, her job dies, so she makes humans numbers. She promises one-on-ones to learn our stories and remove hero risk. Hero culture is risk, she says, like she found a disease. She calls lone excellence a bus factor threat to sustainability. She calls silence exclusion and introversion hidden toxicity. Room nods, because nodding is cheaper than becoming a target. Meanwhile, beverage campaign is in crunch. Launch in 6 weeks. Client is called Sunburst Beverages and they own our calendar. Sunburst pays 40% of revenue and everyone knows it. Media buys booked, packaging locked, deadlines nailed to our throats. We sprint, not sleep, writing copy like it's CPR. Sunburst emails daily, subject lines getting shorter and sharper. Where are taglines? Where is film script? Where are comps? Account lead speaks in dates like they are knives. Liam keeps us focused, says ignore noise, deliver craft, win later. Then Pearl sends email too, and the subject is mandatory off-site workshop. 3 full days, inclusivity, ethics, modern workplace, attendance required. Right in the middle of our critical production week. Pearl booked it months earlier, hotel deposit non-refundable, schedule locked. CEO signed the contract because canceling looks like guilt. Screenshot optics beat deadline reality every time. Email ends with cheerful threat. Attendance tracked. Non-attendance escalated. We grumble privately because complaining publicly gets you labeled. On Tuesday, we file into a downtown hotel conference room. Beige walls, fluorescent lights, chairs that hate spines. Pearl stands beaming beside a whiteboard. Day 1. Unpacking privilege. She says we will do brave work, and my soul tries leaving. She bans work talk during breaks, because work talk is avoidance. She bans sarcasm, because sarcasm creates unsafe energy. She assigns homework, Reflective journal. 500 words. Due 7 a.m. Then she starts the privilege circle, like a cult appetizer. We sit in a ring, like kindergarten, but with mortgages. One by one we confess advantages, like laundering guilt. Pearl nods like therapist, but notes like prosecutor. Noah's turn arrives and he looks physically smaller. He hates attention, hates speaking, hates being a symbol. He hesitates, throat tight, cheeks red, hands clenched. People watch him like he's a lesson plan. He whispers, "I'm good at drawing." Silence. Pearl drops her smile and says that's a skill, not privilege. She asks what structures gave him access to develop it. Noah stares at his hands and collapses inward. I watch Noah fold, and I know we're next. Pearl assigns accountability partners and writes names on a grid. She makes us write privileges on sticky notes and post them. She takes photos of the wall, phone held like evidence. She says it's documentation for the scorecard. She uploads them into a shared folder called Culture Evidence Q2. Meanwhile, Sunburst timeline bleeds off the calendar 1 hour at a time. Afternoon, she hands out laminated microaggression roleplay cards. One card is about offering to help lift printer paper. My harmful action is helping, because helping implies weakness. We act it out in front of everyone like corporate improv punishment. Pearl corrects tone, wording, facial expression, even breathing. Direct critique, she says, is a form of violence. Liam's jaw ticks like a clock counting our death. Day 2 begins with a slide titled Feedback Without Harm. Pearl suggests replacing critique with nurture language. Thank you for sharing, she says. How can we nurture this idea? Liam laughs once, short and sharp, like a snapped cable. Pearl freezes and asks if something is funny. Liam stands, calm face, eyes dead, voice dangerously measured. He says we have a multi-million campaign due in under 5 weeks. He says we are in a hotel room rehearsing feelings instead of work. He calls us professionals, not children needing cushions. He says this workshop burns billable hours and murders momentum. Pearl's face turns stone and she calls his logic resistance. She says, resistance proves the toxicity they are dismantling. Liam says it's math. Clients pay for results, not therapy. He turns, walks out, and slams the door hard enough to rattle cups. Pearl scribbles in her notebook, underlined twice, like a case code. I see the words hostile, unsafe, resistance, with checkboxes. Mini twist. She isn't coaching. She is building a file. She asks who felt unsafe and hands shoot up fast. Not because they felt unsafe, because they felt protected to perform. Workshop ends with a survey. How seen did you feel today? No one laughs. We return Friday to an office that feels colder. We lost 3 days and Sunburst does not care. Client requests a status call and we have nothing ready. CEO joins, smiling too hard, promising alignment and timelines. Pearl insists on joining to model inclusive communication. Liam keeps camera off and speaks in bullets, barely containing rage. That afternoon, Liam goes into CEO's office, door shuts, voices muffled. He stays nearly an hour, long enough for hope to form. CEO is decent on paper, terrified of bad headlines in reality. Liam comes out looking like he swallowed broken glass. He walks to desk, packs bag, no speech, no drama. Later I hear details because agencies run on gossip and fear. Liam told CEO Pearl is harming the business and the people. He said workshops create fear, resentment, and creative paralysis. He gave ultimatum, "Stop this, or Sunburst will fail." CEO listened, nodded, then said. His hands were tied. Board friend warned him, culture scandal screenshots kill brands overnight. CEO said Pearl is insurance, expensive, annoying, safer than Twitter fire. Liam said we are already on fire, just inside the building. CEO asked him to align in writing, like truth needs paperwork. Liam replied in writing, then stopped being his shield. Confirm in writing, he said, then walked. That was the moment our agency died. We just kept typing. Liam leaves early and pauses at Noah's desk. He puts a hand on Noah's shoulder, says something too quiet. Noah saves an export folder to server, then locks laptop. He deletes scratch files like he's erasing fingerprints. Noah nods once, eyes empty, headphones on, gone already. Weekend passes like fever, and Monday arrives with punch. Noah's desk is empty, chair pushed in neatly. CEO email hits at 9:07, sterile subject, staff update. It says Noah resigned to pursue opportunities, thanks for contributions. No goodbye, no cake, no processing, just deletion. Pearl replies with a heart emoji in growth language. She calls it a healthy transition, like talent is seasonal allergy. Someone removes Noah's name from award slide within an hour. By lunch we learn truth. Competitor poached him. Double pay. Instant respect. Competitor posts his welcome on LinkedIn, his art and banner. Our juniors stare at it like lifeboat floating past. It isn't money, it's respect and oxygen. Liam doesn't look surprised, just tired, like he predicted timeline. At 10 a.m., Liam walks in holding a cardboard box. He doesn't sit, he walks straight into CEO office. Less than 5 minutes later, he comes out, already done. He walks to me, extends hand, says it's been a pleasure. Connor. Then he leaves, and the air changes permanently. Pearl sends an email that afternoon. Forward together, new chapter. She celebrates fresh voices aligning with core values. She launches a Slack channel called Wins and Joy, mandatory gratitude posts. She schedules listening circles, cameras on, notes shared with leadership. That isn't culture, it's surveillance with emojis. Mini twist, she is replacing talent with compliance. Exodus starts next day, quiet, professional, deadly. 2 senior copywriters submit notices, no speeches, no tears, no drama, just empty chairs. Art director leaves a week later, badge on desk, laptop closed. No drama, just empty chairs. 3 key designers follow, portfolios updated, Slack status is gone. No drama, just empty chairs. In agencies, silence is professional violence. People don't revolt, they just get hired elsewhere. CEO keeps sending cold emails. We wish them well in future endeavors. Office starts sounding like library, keyboards and coughing only. The ones who stay are trapped. Mortgages, kids, visas, fear. We keep heads down and try salvaging Sunburst with half a team. We have skeleton of concept, but nobody left to give blood. Pearl takes over hiring because she thinks she can rebuild quickly. Interviews become confession booth, values first, craft last. She asks about social impact, personal journeys, challenging narratives. Portfolio review becomes optional, like talent is accessory. She makes candidates read a pledge, joy-centered creativity, accountability forward. She scores answers on a rubric, green, yellow, red. I ask about a paid campaign, and Pearl glares at me. New hires arrive with theory and no commercial instincts. First week, they request trigger warnings for client feedback. They debate socio-political meaning of a font weight. Deadlines don't care. Meetings become mines. Direct feedback labeled harm. Clarity becomes aggression. Work turns safe, generic, polished, and completely forgettable. Pearl creates a language blacklist. No edgy words, no competitive claims. She flags crush the competition as harmful dominance framing. We rewrite copy until it says nothing, then call it inclusive. Mini twist. Pearl doesn't want better ads, she wants safer story. We cobble together final pitch for Sunburst, exhausted and ashamed. Client expects Liam and Noah magic because that's what they bought. Instead, we show stock photo boards and slogans that feel machine-made. Sunburst VP sits silent, then asks, "Where's the team we paid for?" He says these are posters, not ads. He says you stopped being dangerous. Account director sweats through shirt because he knows we are dead. CEO tries to spin it, new direction, fresh perspectives, modern values. Pearl offers to facilitate a repair conversation, and the client laughs. Sunburst VP says I don't need repair. I need results. He asks who approved a 3-day workshop during production week. Pearl starts a slogan, then stops, because invoices don't clap. Meeting ends early, and the room feels smaller. 2 days later, legal sends termination. Subject, material breach notice. No negotiation. Confirm in writing. They cite missed deliverables, timeline failure, and quality degradation. Account lead prints it and tapes it to his monitor like warning. That account was 40% of revenue, our main artery. Now everyone does math out loud. Mini twist, the spreadsheet becomes the real creative director. Emergency leadership call hits calendars. CEO, CFO, legal, Pearl. CFO speaks first. No greeting, just numbers and contempt. He asks for a name attached to the collapse. Legal asks, who approved the off-site contract during production week? Legal asks, who forced attendance under threat during client crunch? Pearl tries to say psychological safety, and CFO cuts her off. He says invoices bounced today, and slogans don't cover payroll. CEO shouts for first time because PR fear got replaced. He demands receipts, and Pearl's own scorecards slide onto screen. Her culture evidence Q2 folder becomes evidence in reverse. Her sticky note photos become Exhibit A for negligence. Board counsel asks if she understands duty of care to operations. Pearl goes quiet, and it's the first real silence she's had. CEO says Pearl is removed from culture governance, effective immediately. CTO equivalent on board says no more workshops without delivery sign-off. Legal says administrative leave, access revoked, investigation opened, confirm in writing. Later that day, security escorts Pearl out with a banker box. HR sends memo, terminated for cause, effective immediately. Severance denied due to documented negligence and operational harm. Her own scorecards become the blade that cuts her. That was the sweetest kind of irony. Cold and stamped. Next morning, I submit my resignation because I can read smoke. No dramatic speech, just letter, 2 weeks, thank you, goodbye. There is no point staying to watch the ship sink. Exit interview lands with a calendar glitch. Pearl is still on it. I show up anyway because I like receipts. Pearl sits in a borrowed office, eyes red, voice stripped. She looks like someone whose slogans got repossessed. She reads a checklist with shaking hands. No ideology left. At the end she asks, Was it really so bad before? For once, her voice sounds human, not trained. I think about pizza boxes, Liam's edits, Noah's comps. I think about respect that didn't need a workshop. I tell her no. It was great. You just couldn't see it. She blinks like that sentence does not parse. I leave before she can reframe it into a lesson. My last day, I pack a small box and walk out quietly. Office feels like tomb, fluorescent lights over empty desks. Remaining employees look like ghosts waiting for layoff email. That night, I meet the old crew for drinks in a dive bar. Liam is there, Noah too, plus talent that used to fill our floor. Noah says his new boss asked about portfolio, not privilege. He says first feedback was clean, direct, respectful. Liam says the only workshop he runs now is making work better. Liam's new shop landed a client, small but real. Noah shows a billboard comp from competitor, and it is gorgeous. We laugh like people who escaped a fire with eyebrows intact. Liam raises glass and says to competence, the only thing that matters. We clink glasses and it feels like closure, not cope. 6 months later, I walk past our old warehouse on my way home. Brick is still there. Sign is different. Now, it's co-working space. Neon script in window says, community first, and I laugh quietly. Poster advertises a values retreat. Same font, same empty smile. Slogan graveyard wall is probably painted over like history never happened. Agency is gone, erased not by economy, not by competitors, by itself. All that talent and revenue died because optics beat outcomes. I keep walking because in advertising, loyalty is to work.